So we had some performances from premier big men around the league last night. So why don't we go coast to coast a little? We're going to start with Zion Williamson. He had the highlight of the night with this alley-oop here. Ooh! But the stat that stood out also were his 11 assists. The Pelicans put up a franchise record 153 points in a blowout win over the Jazz. Zion gave credit to, quote, my coaches, teammates trusting me to be point Zion. All right, we're going a little third person there. Mr. Wilbon, is this the style New Orleans has the best chance to contend with?
The style consistently, no. No, I mean, that's part of the issue with him is physically, what is he able to do for a long stretch of time? Those demands, as Perk knows better than I do, are different than the demands of a big man. I don't know about this.
Well, another big man that quarterbacks an offense, Nikola Jokic. He had another 30-point triple-double, as he does. He's averaging over 30 points on 70% shooting over his last 7 games.
Oh, my goodness.
Ridiculous. Chene, what's it going to take for him to get a third MVP?
In this league, MVP is more of a marathon than a sprint. So he needs to be qualified. I think a lot of people are questioning Joel Embiid. Is he going to make it to 65? Well, Jokic likely will, and that might be the biggest factor. But also, like, what else can he do? Like, he's doing literally everything for the squad.
That is an excellent point on the 65 games. And then we have the Knicks. They turned Barclays into Madison Square Garden South last night. I mean, take a listen to the crowd on this pivotal late game sequence here.
Here's Smith on the move. Smith drives in, scoop no, tipped up in the air. Johnson's got it. It's blocked by Anunoby. And Hart saves it for Randle. Up ahead, bounce, back for Randle. Hammer jam.
That's supposed to be a home game in Barclays Center for the Nets. Josh Hart, OG Anunoby making the extra effort plays on the defensive end. Jalen, Brunson, Julius, Randle just finishing off in transition. Brunson, Randle, they dropped 30 apiece. And the Knicks, they have now won 10 of 12 in 2024. So the Knicks, they improved to 20-1 against teams currently below 500. That's the best record in the NBA.
Supposed to do.
Right, you got to take care of business that's in front of you. But the flip side of that, though, is that they're 7-16 against teams that are 500 or better. So Kendrick Perkins, the Knicks, they stand on business. They beat the teams they need to. Let's fill in the blank a little bit here. The Knicks are the what best team in the Eastern Conference?
The second. As of right now, they're still the second. Now, you know that could change like the weather when it comes down to me. But right now, since they got OG from the Raptors, they have been standing on business. Again, they have an identity. And they have a superstar caliber player in Jalen Brunson. Yes, I said superstar. Since he's returned back from injury, he had a 30-piece. He had a 41-piece. Another 38-piece, and last night topped it off with another 30-piece wing dinner. And when you just think about how they play, right, their physicality, their style on the defensive side of things, listen, this team is committed. They're a mixture of the past and the present, meaning, like, they're not afraid to mix it up in the trenches. That's that old school Tom Thibodeau basketball. And the way that the Knicks are playing right now, they could beat the Bucks, the 76ers, and the Miami Heat in the 7-game series.
So the only team, you're saying they're the second best team, the only team that you think they can't beat in a 7-game series is the Boston Celtics. Do you agree?
Well, listen, Perk makes a great point that I agree with every one of his individual points except the conclusion.
That's the biggest part, though.
It is, because they're in a traffic jam in the East. We talked about this, and I left out Miami earlier. Sinead, we were talking. You got Miami and Philly. I'm sorry, the hottest team in the NBA is who? The Cleveland Cavaliers, who want, as I'm told, they want another shot at the Knicks after losing to them last year in the playoffs. They want the Knicks again. So, agreed about what the Knicks are. You have to be impressed with the way they're playing. I was in New York to talk to Jalen Brunson yesterday, who is just, yes, he is. How does he remain underrated? He wins national championships in college. He leads the Knicks as they haven't been led in years. To me, he's an all-star right now. I don't care about Trae Young and all that. Jalen Brunson's the all-star guard in that conference other than Tyrese Halliburton. But that traffic jam, that's hard. And I don't know that the Knicks can navigate their way through that, even a first-round series. That's how good those top 6 are now.
I love that. You named my 2 all-star starters, Halliburton and Brunson, and I think that answers. I mean, look, I'm not Perk. I'm not going to go all the way up to number 2, okay? But I say that they're number 4, and I give the edge over the Cavs just because their 2 best stars have been doing so well. Brunson himself and then also Julius Randle combined for 60 last night. I think it's just great. I mean, there's no more place under pressure, whether it is like Los Angeles than New York. And then to be, you know, at this point, he is an all-star. He is a star. The word superstar is a little different.
I think superstar is a little overused, but that's not a knock on Jalen Brunson.
To me, they're the 4th. They've cemented themselves as the 4th, and they have opportunity to move up, and that's all you're asking for.
Right. But in a 7-game series between the Bucks, and since we were talking about as they're playing right now, and the Knicks as they're playing right now, just Wilbon, who are you taking?
I think I would lean toward the Bucks, although we have to see how Doc is going to reconstitute them.
What are they going to look like?
We're in now the second-best team in the Eastern Conference. He is saying are the New York Knicks. Somewhere Stephen A. is beat. Suns, though, Wilbon mentioned it. They're on a 6-game winning streak. And did you see the shot that Kevin Durant hit
clutch, baby.
bury the Bulls on Monday? At 35 years old, I mean, he's as dangerous as ever.
I thought Caruso was going to get a piece of that.
Same here.
Not exactly.
So recently, Kevin Durant, he was asked about his place in the whole GOAT conversation. And he told the Arizona Republic, quote, "Because I went to the Warriors, why shouldn't I be in that? That's the question you should ask. Why not? What haven't I done?" Now, former teammate Draymond Green, he also weighed in on all of this on his podcast.
As far as my GOAT conversation, though, I think KD is one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. But people always say KD is the greatest scorer of all time. Like, you can make that argument. Like, the way KD scored the ball is so effortless. That's what KD do. He's never seen a bad shot. Like, obviously, I'm not one that's going to be like, KD's championships aren't real. Like, stop it. Like, there's no championship that's not real.
Okay, so to Draymond's point, Kevin Durant is 4th all-time in points per game, and yet, when it comes to the GOAT conversation, he's generally not talked about, certainly not like LeBron, certainly not like Michael, but not even like Steph Curry. Where do you fall? Should he be included?
You can include him in the conversation. I'm not going to put him at the top of it. Perk and I talk about something every week that Perk didn't have to convince me much of, and Draymond addressed it. I think Kevin Durant, if you're looking at just scoring, is the 2nd greatest scorer. 2nd, behind Michael. There's nothing I'm going to say Kevin Durant does better with a basketball to score it than Michael Jordan. So, but 2nd of all time is pretty good praise, right? But people got to remember, people can't just forget about Kareem and about Bill Russell and about Magic, who is way high. Magic's in my top 5. About Kobe Bryant, right? All right, so does KD go above that? He went and joined, and this is the criticism he spoke of. He joined the best regular season team ever and continued, made it better. Yes, those championships belong to him as well. Is that the same thing as riding that thing out in Chicago? People say, oh, well, Pippen was great. Pippen wasn't great when Jordan got there. He was a kid. He was drafted to join Michael. He and Horace Grant. So no. That argument ain't flying. Greatest scorer of all time, like Draymond mentioned. I got him 2nd. So, Perk, see, I'm listening to you, Perk. I'm listening to you, bruh. That's a smart, persuasive discussion. And Kevin Durant is an all-timer. The all-timer? No.
Go ahead, Perk.
And my answer to the question, should he be in the GOAT debate, is hell no, right? Now, is Kevin Durant, in my eyes, the best scorer to ever touch the damn basketball? Yes. And I think, me and Wilbon talk about this all the time. It's between him and Mike, because not only putting up 30 a night matters but efficiency matters as well. But when it comes down to the GOAT debate, like, we got to set the bar somewhere.
Yes.
Right? Yes, championship matters, but those accolades matter. And the one major accolade is the MVP.
Correct.
And you have to have multiple regular season MVPs, at least 3, in my opinion, to even be mentioned in the GOAT conversation. Right now, I don't even have Kevin Durant higher than Steph Curry on my all-time list. But when it comes down to GOAT conversations, one could argue Jordan, one could argue LeBron, one could argue Kareem, One could even argue Magic.
Yep.
Like, you got to have those MVPs, regular season MVP awards, right under your resume to be in that GOAT
I'm right there
conversation.
with you, Perk. You stole my answer, and I was like, you said, no, Mr. Wilbon. Perk said, hell no. And I'm like, politely, KD, no. Like, I'm sorry. Just because you have to wonder what, like, this threshold, this floor is. And it's absolutely one thing, championships, titles, and MVPs. And I feel like for those that we always say their names, the ones that Perk mentioned, those at least have 4 titles and at least 3 MVPs. We're talking about 1 MVP versus 2 titles.
Right.
I don't want to say circumstantial type of situation.
But it's not reducing. Here's what we've gotten into. The problem is, as we find these tiebreakers, these are all tiebreakers, right? We're splitting hairs, and it's a fun conversation. But it feels like you have to say something negative about a great player to justify the position, and I don't want to do that. Kevin Durant is an all-time great player, right? You may even put him now in your top 10 or 12 players. You can do that. But I think
Absolutely.
Kobe Bryant, by the way, I think only won 1 regular season MVP.
Yeah, that's
we got to be careful there. Exceptions to everything. But GOAT, I mean, to me, that's a real small group.
Right.
And maybe Kevin Durant still gets there.
Well,
he ain't retired. He got a chance this year.
You weigh Kobe's MVPs and then you look at his titles. There's something that balances everything
exactly.
else.
When you're talking about Bill Russell's title, that is the everything. There's ingredients. This is chemistry. There are things you need to add and take away, and it yields a different result. It's why, but you need to have something has to be sacred. It's why, as we continue to dole out the title of superstar, if everybody's a superstar, then we need another level to describe the players like LeBron James.
Mega superstar.
Exactly, and that's
sacred. Very good.
Mega star.
That's where a mega star. All right.